What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, the Colts lose their second game of the season, and their record drops to 7-2 as they lose on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers by a final score of 27-20 in a game in which the Indianapolis Colts, I can't even remember the last time the Colts had this many giveaways in a game. I really could not tell you. It has probably been a long, long time, and it ultimately was the reason why the Indianapolis Colts lost this game. We're going to hop into it, guys, but before we do, just want to say that this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. Obviously, if you had the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game, you definitely hit the jackpot on this one. But yeah, that sucks, man. It was a decent chance for the Colts today, but Colts started off hot, and then Pittsburgh rode the coattails of a second quarter, and then it just flopped from there. So shout out to FanDuel for them sponsoring, and check them out, guys. So this game, it really started like every other Colts game this year, usually. The Colts got a 3-and-out. Actually, the first three drives that the Pittsburgh Steelers got, they went 3-and-out on all three of their first offensive drives. So, and the Colts scored a touchdown on their opening drive. And then even despite the turnover from downs on the punt, Colts were moving down the field. And then from that point forward, things just took off from there. And I mean, I'm telling you guys, I just don't understand how this all happened. I mean, this was epic proportions, to say the I mean, to have 6 takeaways or 6 giveaways in this game is absolutely insane. I mean, we look at the 6 giveaways. It was the first one was a fumble by Josh Downs on that punt. Absolutely messed that one up big time. And then, of course, when we talk about the strip sack on the next drive by TJ Watt. So that happens. And then, of course, multiple interceptions by Daniel Jones in this game. That 3 on the day. And then, of course, like we said, 2 strip sacks, one by Highsmith, one by TJ Watt, and then that fumble by Josh Downs that took away an offensive drive. I mean, it was a terrible bad day. I mean, and not to mention the fact that, you also gave up 5 sacks for Daniel Jones today. So, I mean, let's just start with this. Let's just start with this. Early in the game, I felt that the Colts could have tried to run the football a little bit more. I felt they could have. And it sucks because in the early part of the second half, when it was still only a 10-point game, the Colts were running the football. And then all of a sudden a turnover happens, right? So overall, it wasn't a great day with the game calling in particular. I don't even really think it was a bad day calling it. I know people are going to look at the numbers and say, oh, Daniel Jones threw the football 50 times. Yes, he threw the ball 50 times, but because the majority of the game you were down. So you had, and especially in that fourth quarter, you were down multiple scores. You couldn't run the football. So, through 3/4 of football, you only ran the football 14 times. Still probably could have been more. I get that. But I don't think the actual game calling itself was terrible. I felt that just the lack of execution by certain people was there. I'll mention that here in a second. But nevertheless, let's talk about Daniel Jones and his play today. So Daniel Jones, final numbers, 31 of 50 for 342 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, sacked 5 times with a QB rating of a 64. Yeah, it was not a good day for Daniel Jones. It was not. Early in the game, it felt like he was completely locked in. And then obviously that first interception that he threw, where he threw it straight to Wilson and it backed up the defense. And obviously the couple strip sacks that were not on him. And then, of course, like I said, he was under duress for a good chunk of this game, guys. I mean, this was just a really bad performance by, the whole offense in general, but Daniel Jones certainly looked flustered in this game for sure. I'm honestly less concerned about how he played in this game. I'm more concerned about what happens after this game. What happens after this game now that he has had this type of performance, right? That's what concerns me more than, again, you had a stinker of a game. It happens. A lot of quarterbacks have them. And unfortunately, it happened on this day for Daniel Jones. But I'm not. I'm more concerned about how does he respond. Does he respond by being a much better quarterback next week, where you're going to be going overseas and you're going to be doing all this stuff? I certainly hope so, right? Because we've seen Daniel Jones have bad games before. Has he responded well in the past? Not really. How does he respond this time around? Again, we saw in weeks 5 through 8 how Daniel Jones responded to the bad game that he had against the Rams at times. So how does he respond in this game where nothing was going right for him or the offense, right? Only thing I could say about the run offense here, Jonathan Taylor never really stood a chance. He didn't really get a ton of carries, but there wasn't much for him to do, right? Overall, you had 15 carries today between him and Abdullah for 48 yards. That's just over 3 yards a carry. It just wasn't very good, right? Wasn't very good. Obviously, offensive line struggled to create holes for this offense. And from a receiving standpoint, we'll just bring this up. Again, your top 4 targets all had themselves some pretty solid days. Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman both had 115 yards today. Ironically enough, this is the first time all season that the Indianapolis Colts have had a 100-plus yard receiver in a game, and Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman both had 100-plus days. Josh Downs had 6 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Warren, 5 receptions for 26 yards, and then the list goes down, a few more there. Tyler Warren basically ineffective for the majority of today. They didn't really get him utilized in a lot of different things as well as they should have. So that's on Steichen and Daniel Jones and the offense. But again, I saw a play earlier in the game when Daniel Jones did get a strip sacked where Tyler Warren was open in the flat and he'd have 15, 20 yards to do whatever he wanted. But but that play ended up, just that it didn't happen because of the strip sack, right? So obviously the offensive playmakers showed up when they could. I guess probably my number one issue with the Colts today, and it was the offensive line play. I mean, again, you gave up 5 sacks. 2 of those sacks resulted in strip sacks that put the defense in a bad situation both times. And sure, Daniel Jones had 3 interceptions, but I mean, a bunch of times he's trying to have to make plays when, because you guys weren't able to protect him. And again, this was a offense or a defense that, was virtually non-existent for a good chunk of the last few games. And yet they were able to make a drastic impact on how this game worked for the Colts. And it's a lot of the fact that you couldn't run the football because you weren't blocking very well. And you gave up 5 sacks, which, I mean, Daniel Jones barely has been sacked that many times this year already. You gave up pretty much 30% of your sack total this season has come from this game. And then obviously the 6 turnovers you had 4 turnovers going into this game. And then you gave up 6 today. And so I will give discredit to Josh Downs. Downs, you cannot do that, man. You cannot allow that crap to happen, dude. You either fair catch that thing early or you just get out of the way early. Do not give that ball a chance to do what it did, and it did that to you. And I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Again, the Colts, they beat themselves a lot today. Obviously, Pittsburgh brought it, no question about it. But I mean, they weren't doing anything crazy to us other than the fact that they just were beating us. I mean, it was just a drastically bad performance by the Colts, offensively at least. I mean, and again, for the defense for the Colts, I mean, listen, 23 of their 27 points came off of turnovers. So, I mean, the Colts defense, half the time they were starting with the ball in Pittsburgh or in their own territory. I mean, really, that's the case. The Indianapolis Colts defense was backed up on so many drives. Even if they weren't on their side of the field, Pittsburgh was getting the ball at what, the 40? I mean, that's easy work for most offenses, right? And I mean, Aaron Rodgers today, 25 of 35, 203 yards. I mean, again, it's not like, I mean, hey, he was only completing, it wasn't like Aaron Rodgers was taking the top off the defense. He wasn't. And he wasn't dissecting, getting rid of everybody. Like, the defense was good today. I mean, they were put in a ton of really bad situations. And if you cut half those turnovers away, then this is a different ball game. This is a different ball game because the Pittsburgh Steelers couldn't run the football. They had 23 carries today for 38 yards. They didn't run the football on us. Their best receiver was Calvin Austin on 5 catches for 56 yards. They didn't do anything to us defensively. And we had that turnover late in the game. We could have figured it out. I'm telling you guys, the defense was not the issue today. It was the offense putting the defense in a ton of bad situations. You will never win a game when you turn the ball over like that. So defense gets a pass. They made some stops. They made some big plays. And given the circumstances they were put in, it was a bad situation. Offensively, you lost this game, and it was atrociously bad. So, I mean, again, I can't really say much. I mean, special teams, Badgley did what he needed to do. Josh Downs quit fumbling the freaking football on punts. Because I know the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't score on that play, but Downs turning the ball over, that's minutes and another offensive possession taken away from the Indianapolis Colts, because then the Indianapolis Colts were placed at the 4-yard line. We had to start that drive at the 4-yard line, so it was much deeper than what it could have been. Had Downs fair caught it at the 12-yard line, I mean, that's almost an entire first down. That's a huge difference. It is a huge difference when you're backed up that far. Or potentially that ball could have went the other direction, gotten us some more yards, and, you could have been at the 15, maybe the 20. Who knows? But that's another offensive possession that you took away from the Colts because you couldn't hold on to, because you couldn't get out of the way, right? So that's the issue that you have when it comes to those sorts of situations. And so the great thing I talk about, and I said it on social media, I'll say it to you guys now. You had 6 giveaways. You had a historically bad offensive day from turning the ball over, okay? You had a historically bad day, and yet you only lost by 7, okay? That is something that we can hang our hats on. We really can, okay? You are 7-2. Yes, this was absolutely disgusting of a performance offensively, okay? I get that. You did only lose by 7. It's the same score as the Rams versus the Colts game in week 4. The great thing about this is this isn't college. How you lose doesn't matter. You lost this game. You have a chance now to rewrite those wrongs. The offensive line needs to play better. Daniel Jones needs to play better. If that is the case and that happens going forward, you got a week to prepare and get ready to play Atlanta on Sunday overseas in Berlin. Scratch it from your memory. Just scratch it. Obviously, you're going to take what happened in this game and you're going to improve. You need to improve. But Daniel Jones just needs to make better decisions. Offensive line needs to play a hell of a lot better. So, again, anyone in the NFL can beat anyone at any given time. Packers lost a big one. There's other teams this week that lost some games in which they shouldn't have. It happens. Okay, so all I ask for Colts fans is, and I'll probably do a segment on this, but just don't overreact, right? Don't overreact. Just, I get being upset by this. I'm upset by this loss. But you are 7-2. We're still in a good position. This is still a good football team in the Indianapolis Colts. And knowing that you played terribly offensively and you were still within grasp of winning that football game should tell you, if we don't beat ourselves, we can still win these games, okay? Hopefully the Colts figure it out, get something going offensively next week. Again, you're playing the Falcons. If you can just not turn the ball over like you did this week, you're going to be fine. So it's a big loss. It sucks. I mean, it would be better to be 8-1 right now, but it is what it is. Just chalk it, learn from it, get better. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this game. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.